For more than 50 years, the Shriver Concerts have brought some of the world's finest classical musicians to Baltimore. With me on smARTS is Catherine Cochran, Executive Director of the series. Good to meet you finally in person.
Yes, indeed.
So the Shriver Concert Series, I mean, it is the mecca of series here in Baltimore. It's been around for how long now, do you know?
We're heading into our 52nd season.
Wow.
Of presenting the finest classical chamber music and recitals here in Baltimore.
Okay, so would you say that's what makes it unique? I mean, there are different concert series, but what's a little different about Shriver?
Well, the artists we're presenting are of international repute, coming from around the world. They're among the most interesting, compelling, thoughtful musicians at work today. And I think Shriver Hall Concert Series is really the finest place to hear them in the Mid-Atlantic region.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to give me some examples of those world-class musicians you've had in the series.
Oh, of course. It's a really staggering legacy. When we launched in the late 60s, the season was presenting Jacqueline Dupre and Rudolf Serkin, yes, Mstislav Rostropovich, the Quartetto Italiano, really artists who became recognized as among the most important of the 20th century. And today we strive to continue that legacy with recent artists including pianist Richard Good, the Emerson String Quartet, the violinist Midori, and then people from this season like pianist Pierre-Laurent Aymar, the Tetzlaff Quartet with Christian Tetzlaff, among many others.
Yeah, okay. So you've been in the same space also as for the last
52 years, yes.
Which means sometimes these spaces need a little renovating, which is what's happening this season.
Yes, we're very grateful to the Johns Hopkins University for leading the renovation of the hall. Most notably, they're going to be replacing all of the seats, as well as putting in a new electrical system. And both of those will really enhance the experience for concertgoers.
Okay, so one of the benefits, particularly to Baltimore County residents, is those, because you can't be using the hall for your concerts, you're going to be presenting them in Baltimore County.
Yes, while the hall is closed for renovations, the fall concerts in our season will be presented at Baltimore Hebrew Congregation, which is in Pikesville, just over the border into Baltimore County.
Okay, so if folks go on your website, they can get all the information exactly where that location is.
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's talk about another series that also has home a little bit sometimes in Baltimore County, and that's the Discovery Series, which is the theme of our show today. Tell me a little bit about that.
The Discovery Series was launched about a little over 10 years ago, and it features outstanding artists and ensembles in their Baltimore debuts as they're emerging on the international scene. It's a terrific place to hear some of these artists early in their career, and because it's free and on Saturday afternoons, it's very accessible, particularly to families with kids, someone who wants to try out a concert for the first time or just have a lovely afternoon.
Right. Well, now, nothing is free, as I've heard, so somehow, how are you able to manage presenting these concerts for free?
We're very fortunate to have the underwriting of the Baltimore County Commission of the Arts and Sciences.
Baltimore County, yes, thank you.
As well as Maryland State Arts Council, the Paul M. Angel Family Foundation, and the Yale Gordon Trust, among individuals.
Okay, well, so I know we're all excited about that as well. Let's talk a little bit about where classical music is right now and some of the challenges that you may have in making sure that you get the halls filled and that you're presenting programs that are of interest to the public.
Sure. I think it's about building bridges. I think concerts are vital. They help us understand the world around us and ourselves, spark the imagination, enrich our daily lives. And it's the presenters, I think, a role to help make sure people understand why these concerts are relevant to them and what's moving about them and where the different stories are in the concerts between the repertoire, the artist's personal biography, or just that it's gorgeous music to disappear into for a few hours.
Right. And I want to talk just a little bit about you because I think your background is so interesting and probably one reason that they were so excited to have you here at Shriver. Tell us a little bit about where you were before you came to Baltimore.
Certainly. I was in New York City at 92nd Street Y for 14 years. It's a cultural community center on the Upper East Side and presents a range of programming from speakers to summer camps to fine arts education, as well as an 80 concerts season each year.
Right. And with your leadership, Do you see doing the direction of the Shriver Hall Concert Series changing at all, or?
I think Shriver Hall Concerts has an extraordinary legacy and is doing important work in presenting these live classical chamber music and recitals. And some of my goals for this series are to introduce artists to Baltimore that perhaps have not been here before. Artists like Jeremy Denkin Recital, or Pierre-Laurent Marr, who's returning this year. Giving them voice here in Baltimore, as well as looking at some corners of the repertoire that we haven't, that are wonderful and should be heard. This coming season, we've got Ligeti's music of Richard Cotta, as well as a new commission, thanks to one of our board members, as well as stalwarts like the Dvorak Piano Quintet. And I think that's endlessly interesting, compelling, and revisiting it and living with this music is deeply rewarding.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a very exciting season. We encourage people to go online, get the whole lineup of your whole roster for the season, and we look forward to some great music from Shriver this season.
Thank you very much.
Catherine Cochran, thanks so much. Discover world-class musicians at the Shriver Hall Concert Series. This is smARTS, the Baltimore County Arts and Culture Show.